Welcome to Theater Corner. I'm your host, Michael Taylor. Theater Corner was created as an ongoing effort to increase diverse interest and involvement in the theater scene. Today, we're broadcasting from the heart of North Hollywood, California at BGB Studios, where they're dedicated to the fierce artistic exploration and the pursuit of every individual's unique voice. Silence your cell phones, folks. You're about to enter Theater Corner. And we're sitting here with the lovely Mildred Marie Langford and Jenelle Lynn Randall. Welcome to Theater Corner. And this is the very first time on Theater Corner that we've had two guests at one time. So this is a historic moment indeed. Indeed it is. We're here to talk about the August Wilson reading series that they both are co-executive producers for. Quite exciting. This is an amazing thing that they've put together here. They're going to go through the entire series of August Wilson plays, the Century Cycle. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about the series, Janelle.
It honestly started when I was watching Fences, the movie, in December. And I realized that I didn't know any of August Wilson's work.
I see.
And I was really embarrassed by that. And so I decided to put together like a book club, where I would call my friends once a month, we'd pick out a play, I'd invite them over to my apartment, we'd cast it amongst ourselves, we'd have some food, we'd read it, we'd laugh and, intermission, and then, read the rest of it and talk about it and what we felt about it and, how it moved us or whatever. And I put the word out and nobody bit. And then some time passed, maybe a week or so, and we both, Millie and I both take classes here at BGB.
Okay.
And it occurred to me that they needed some diversity. And I mentioned it with my big mouth. Okay. And they generously welcomed it. And I told them that I wanted to do it in my apartment, and our teacher, Steve Braun, said, no, you're gonna have it here. And I thought, oh, okay. I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that. And so we just started putting it together. Like, okay, well, let's put the emails out and let's create a email account, and just planning it.
Right.
And that's really how it started. And we just call our friends. There's no audition. We call our friends. We email our friends and say, "Hey, do you want to read, the role of Bynum in Joe Turner?" Yes. And we get our friends together. It's a one and done. We read it. I like to say it's an actor, a script, and a music stand.
Okay.
There's no lights, camera, action. There's no costumes, and it's not a stage. It's what you see here is what it is. And this room seats about 50 people.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, it seats 50 people. 51 can't fit.
Right. And
we put it on in front of them, and we've got nothing but rave reviews. The guest list is growing. People are emailing us before we even put out the next installment or the next flyer.
That's beautiful. It's doing exactly what it should do.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I want to make sure that they officially save the seat for me for this next reading.
Yes, it's the piano lesson on June 17th at 7.
June 17th at 7 p.m., which is a Saturday, in BGB Studios. It's located at 10999 Riverside Drive in Suite 301. And I'm really quite excited to be here and to experience this it's phenomenal reading series. And so for the sake of some people that may not be familiar with August Wilson or this particular series, could you tell them a little bit about the Century Cycle?
Sure. With August Wilson, the Century Cycle sort of came out of his finding of Romare Bearden, who at the time when August found him had started experimenting with collages. And he had, Wilson came across a book that he had written called The Prevalence of Rituals, which was all about the sort of the rituals that happen within the Black communities and sort of day-to-day life things that we all experience, showing that we are no more different than the white community or the Hispanic community. We all experience the same things, you know, funerals, weddings, birthdays, all of those things. We experience all of those things just like they do. And so he wanted to show that through the eyes of an African American. And so he had started doing collages, and Wilson came across his book and he said, you know what, I would be interested in doing that by putting all of my work on stage. And so that's where he basically wanted to create a collage of plays that sort of chartered the African American experience. And he had written, Ma Rainey was the first play that he wrote, and it's the only play that doesn't take place in Pittsburgh. It takes place in Chicago.
Right.
And then I think Jitney came along, and then he realized sort of what he was doing, and he's like, well, you know, why don't I create a play for each decade? And that's sort of where that all came about with the 10 plays that sort of charter the experience of African Americans from 1900s to 1980, with Radio Golf being the last play.
See, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. And that's exactly why I wanted to do the series, because I didn't know that. And even though we both went to the same school, George Mason
University.
Did they have that when you were there?
No, and actually they didn't have, they had a teacher who came in and sort of taught African American like plays or playwrights. They did a class of that. She may have been there a couple of semesters, but that's where I first became aware of August Wilson. Joe Turner Come and Gone was the first play that I read of his, but he didn't have the same influential impact on me until I got to Chicago years later after graduating. And then, you know, coming here now and us doing the series is just bringing me deeper into his work and who he was as a playwright and his influence on the theater. But I wish that I had that sooner. I do, yeah.
Right. And so this is 10 plays, so you're doing one reading per month.
We started in March.
In March.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're on number
4.
4 is in next weekend.
Next weekend is number 4. Wow, this is going to be so cool. And of course, those that do get a seat, this is going to be free for them.
It's free, totally free. As a matter of fact, BGB gives us this venue every month. They give it to us free of charge. I mean, that's. Yeah. I don't even have words. That's how precious that is.
That is very generous. That is generous. And
they also use their community base and their social platforms as well to advertise the reading for us as well. And so we get a lot of people from their community and then from our own communities kind of coming together. So it's been a great experience.
So I understand you have a hashtag for the series. So that would be hashtag.
Our hashtag is AWRS
2017.
Sometimes we just do hashtag
AWRS.
Yeah.
But the Twitter is at AWRS 2017.
That's where I saw it.
Instagram is at AWRS 2017.
Just make it easy for everybody.
And the Facebook is, of course, facebook.com/AWRS 2017.
Yes.
Very good. Consistency is important.
And our email is AWRS2017@gmail.
At Gmail.
For branding, they tell you to be consistent.
Oh, you have to be.
That's very important.
Yeah.
So we're about to increase your likes on all of those platforms.
Yes.
Actually, you guys are going to increase the likes because you guys are doing. It's an amazing performance, and it's really quite cozy. And I imagine you're getting a few other artists that show up in the audience.
Yeah.
We had John Chafin, who I believe is from Have and Have Nots.
Yes.
He played our Levy in Ma Rainey.
Okay.
We had Gavin
Houston, who was also a regular on that show.
Have and Have Nots.
Yeah.
He played, he was in Gem of the Ocean.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he played, yes. Oh God, his name's, oh my God.
No. Who was the character name?
That's what I'm trying to think. It totally slips my mind right now.
Citizen
Yes,
Barlow.
Yes.
Listen, August Wilson's got like 11, 12 people in each play. So
Right.
Yes, he played Citizen
Citizen
Barlow in Gem of the Ocean, and that was our first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then people just started emailing us saying, how can I get in?
Oh, geez.
And we just decided, why are we, this is not it's one thing we pride ourselves on, it's not a Hollywood event. It is not about stars. It'd be great to have people lined up around the block, but it's not about that. We don't want people coming just to see Denzel. I'm sorry. Okay. But we don't want people coming to see a star. We want them to just hear the words.
Get the experience.
To get the
of what he wrote.
experience.
Okay.
We're honored that these celebrities are coming in and emailing us saying, how can I donate my time? Because that's what they're doing.
Right,
We have
right.
2 rehearsals for 3 hours. So
Okay.
basically that's the play itself is what, 2.5 hours?
Right,
So
certainly
by the
is.
time another 30 minutes of kind of chopping it up and talking about, intentions and that kind of thing or how it made you feel, 3 hours is nothing.
Correct.
So really it's like a table read each time, and then we do light blocking, in front of music stands, but we want to keep it minimal. We don't want to ask too much of the people because they are donating their time.
Yes.
Everyone is donating. The venue is being donated. The actors are donating their time, and I'm hoping that everyone is getting something out of it that maybe I can't even explain. Maybe I can't even fathom. That's what I hope.
Wow. So for some folks that don't get in, is there, you plan to do another reading series after this? I mean, this looks like something amazing you're creating here.
We talk about it. We do of other plays that we like to do where we might be able to sort of diversify the cast a bit more. So we're always talking about, oh yeah, it'd be great to do this play like Proof, or we'd like to do A Raisin in the Sun, we'd like to do Clybourne Park and do things like that and change it up a bit, because it's like, well, what do you do after a century cycle?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are sort of already thinking about it because the response to what we're doing now has been so big and so great, and so we'd like to keep, building that community and getting people interested in what BGB is doing, and so it's sort of each person kind of wins and gains something, from the partnership, and so that's been great too, because we've had some actors who have done this and are now taking classes at BGB, and so it's been beneficial for them as well.
And both of you,
Take classes here.
and you teach here as well.
We TA classes.
You
so,
TA
yeah,
classes.
TA classes.
Teacher's assistant.
Yes.
Okay.
So you.
We're inseparable because we take a writing class that I'm the teacher's assistant, and she got a scholarship.
Yeah.
So that's on Sundays. So we do that.
Okay.
And then we're on the phone all day, every day,
All the
talking
time.
about August Wilson.
Yeah.
And then I have a Wednesday night acting class. She has a
the
Thursday
Thursday.
night acting class. We're here like all the time.
All right, and making this thing work.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
making it work well.
Absolutely.
So both of you are accomplished actresses. I mean, you both done television, theater, commercials, voiceover. I mean, this is a great deal of talent.
You
sitting
did your
in-
homework.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That's how I discovered both of you attended George Mason University. Not at the same time, though.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Only a year apart.
You
Only
can't tell. You can't tell.
Not at all. And now I understand that you're going to give us a little taste of what a viewer would hear and see during one of the readings. So each of you are going to, you have your select favorite part from August Wilson piece, and we'll start over there on the end. What are you gonna give us?
So I'm gonna do a little of our next reading, which is going to be 7 guitars next month on July 22nd, and this is Vera, and she's talking to Floyd, her ex. You never showed me all those places where you were a man. You went to Pearl Brown and you showed her. I don't know what she did or didn't do, but I looked up and you was back here after I had given you up. After I had walked through an empty house for 1.5 years looking for you. After I would lay myself out on that bed and search my body for your fingerprints. He touched me here. Floyd touched me here, and he touched me here, and he touched me here, and he kissed me here, and he gave me here, and he took me here, and he ain't here, he ain't here, he ain't here. Quit looking for him, 'cause he ain't here. He's there, 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 there.
My goodness, now that's juicy.
And you wanted to know why August Wilson.
Hello.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
right.
right.
You're welcome.
So, you folks out there, if you haven't gotten any of this is a great chance. If you're here in LA, you want to get on that attendance list, and you're going to bring us.
I'm going to do a piece from the piano lesson, which is the production we're doing in about 1.5 weeks on June 17th. This is Bernice. I'm playing Bernice, and she's talking to her brother, Boy Willie. You ain't taking that piano out of my house. Look at this piano. Look at it. Mama Ola polished this piano with her tears for 17 years. For 17 years, she rubbed on it till her hands bled. Then she rubbed the blood in, mixed it up with the rest of the blood on it. Every day that God breathed life into her body, she rubbed and cleaned and polished and prayed over it. Play something for me, Bernice. Play something for me, Bernice, every day. I cleaned it up for you. Play something for me, Bernice. You're always talking about your daddy, but you ain't never stopped to look at what his foolishness cost your mama. 17 years worth of cold nights in an empty bed. For what? For a piano? For a piece of wood? To get even with somebody? I look at you and you're all the same. You, Papa Boy, Charles, Whining Boy, Doker, Crawler, you're all alike. All this thieving and killing and thieving and killing, and what it ever led to, more thieving and more killing. I ain't seen it come to nothing. People get burned up, people get shot, people falling down their wells. It don't never stop.
Bravo. Bravo indeed. My goodness, I have goose pimples now. Thank you so much for that gift.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you for that gift. And so, if folks aren't able to get a seat on this next one, what's the following show after June 17th?
So the following show will be 7 guitars, and
Okay.
that's going to be July 22nd here at the studio, 7 p.m.
And then Fences in August.
Oh my.
And then 2 Trains in September.
Okay.
And then Jitney in October. And then King Headley II in November. And then
Okay.
Radio Golf in December.
All right. And if you didn't get that, continue watching the video until the end, and we will list the entire schedule.
And we're directed by Sean Walton.
Yes.
Sean Walton.
He is
Yes.
our resident
He's our
director.
resident
He's actually directing
director.
all the pieces.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mildred, what do you have coming up in terms of performances?
Besides this, I have a few episodes on a web series that's out in its 2nd season called Magic Funhouse.
Web series. This is a
Yeah.
hot new thing.
It is. Everyone is doing a web series. Everyone. Yeah. Yeah. So that is the most recent right now. Yeah. So don't have exact dates on when the season will air, but we're shooting now. So.
Okay. And Janelle, I understand if folks go to your website, they can hear some amazing, amazing music that you put down. And the name of this website is listed right here. It's a lot to speak, but you could go to this website right here, and you can see some reels of Janelle, and as well as her putting out some tunes.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for coming here and gracing the director's seats here at Theater Corner. You two are awesome. I really love what you're doing. You're bringing August Wilson to folks perhaps some of them never heard of before. You know, it's like uncovering hidden figures or something like that. It's really quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Phenomenal thing you're doing. So again, the next reading is at on June 17th at 7 p.m. That's a Saturday here at BGB Studios in North Hollywood. And thank you so much. Maybe we'll see you again on Theater Corner.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking time out to come visit a brother. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Theater Corner.